Game number 11 of the North Georgia women's soccer season is here, and it brings us a Peach Belt Conference matchup against Albany State today. And when you look at a lot of the statistics and look at the Peach Belt standings, two teams going in two different directions. North Georgia sitting more towards the top of the Peach Belt Conference, while Albany State sitting more closer towards the bottom. And we're going to welcome you up to the press box here in the broadcast booth. Devin Kupka alongside T.J. Campbell. And I said it right there, tale of two vastly different teams. What do you expect in today's matchup?
I expect Albany State to kind of sit back in their own end, play a little survival, play some good defense, and then kind of take their chances as they come and try to make every chance as quality as possible. The beginning of the season was rough for Albany State, but they have been trending upward as of late. They picked up their first win and first tie within their last 4 games. So they are trending up, but so is North Georgia. North Georgia's trending upward. You know, they did take a loss in their last time out, but that was to the second-ranked team in the country, Catawba, who is now 11-0. And the Nighthawks actually gave Catawba their closest scare of the season. It was their only time they had trailed the whole season, and North Georgia kind of took it to them in that first half, and Catawba kind of showed why they're the number 2 team in the country in the second half. But I think there's going to be some good soccer. It's senior day, and we're excited to see it.
It is senior day indeed, and that's why pregame festivities ran on a little bit longer than they usually do and kick off right around 4:10. And we mentioned, and we'll get into it later in the game, but 7 seniors on this North Georgia roster going to be leaving the team next year. And kickoff is underway here in Dahlonega on what is a absolutely beautiful day up here in the North Georgia mountains. Temperature at kickoff, 70 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Couldn't ask for any better weather in the fall time at North Georgia in Dahlonega. The ball moving around midfield towards the far side of the field. North Georgia already moving the ball deep into Albany State territory. And ball rolls right out of bounds. Let's take a look at the North Georgia and Albany State starters for today's matchup. Let's start off with Albany State. Number 3, Norma Hernandez. Number 12, Madison Steyer. Number 7, Riley Bain. Number 8, Abigail Dalebout. Number 9, Hannah Oliver. Number 11, Peyton Johnson. Number 13, Mackenzie Miner. Number 15, Dan Lee Bears. Number 16, Kirsten Thomas. Number 18, Jordan Keene. And number 22, Raylan Watts. This ball is going to sail inside the box, but it's going to be picked up. So we take a look at North Georgia's starters for today. Starting in the goalkeeping position, number 0, Sierra Fowler. Number 2, Alex Clark. Number 3, Adley Wheeler. Number 7, Nikki Gomez. Number 8, Katie Durkay. Number 10, Maysoon El Shami. Number 12, Michelle Lapenta. Number 15, Bailey Vessel. Number 20, Ariel Arnoff. Number 23, Natalie McGuire. And number 5, Elise Bouresi. North Georgia so far early in this game maintaining it in the Golden Rams territory. As this one, they're going to try make their first attempt on goal today. This one's going to go just overhead of the goal. This one getting passed right back in. Bailey Vessel on the charge to recover the ball from going back into their own territory. Sierra Fowler there to meet Bailey. Ball is in the far side of the field. Maysoon El-Shami currently in possession. Adley Wheeler is going to kick this one towards Ariel Arnoff. Ariel bouncing over a defender, and North Georgia's going to get right there and the back of the net, and a big save by Madison Steyer. She jumped up in the air and bounced that one off, but that'll be North Georgia's first official shot of the game. And TJ, we were talking pregame, you're going to say that this team receives a lot of shots, but also saves a lot of them as well.
Yeah, it's partly strategy and kind of playing to your strengths. I think that they like to play back and use a quality chance rather than try to push it downfield at all times. That's how they can kind of keep it close and kind of build onto and maybe sneak a goal, sneak two, and kind of have a good chance to win.
Now, from our vantage point, it can be a little tough to see the left corner, the left near side corner. Not sure if that was a throw-in or I
believe that was a corner.
Corner kick.
The goalkeeper tipped it off above the crossbar, and then that corner kind of went a little left and hit the side of the net there.
North Georgia regaining in possession. Ariel Arnoff chasing that ball before it gets out of bounds, and they're trying to, and the Golden Rams make a stop there from the ball hit in the back of the net. Vessel passing it to, and where it will be end up back into Golden Ram possession. Mackenzie Minor right there for Albany State. Bailey Vessel on the near side. Passing this one to Ariel Arnoff. Now to throw in for Albany State. Jordan Keene currently deep into North Georgia territory. He's going to try to make a goal attempt. That's going to sail way left and not enough speed on the ball where Sierra Fowler easily comes up with the grab. Bailey Vessel there to intercept from the Golden Rams, making any more advances downfield, but that one's just going to go right off the feet of Ariel Arnoff, where it's going to be a Albany State throw-in. That ball is going to hit the back of Hannah Oliver, where North Georgia regains. Maysoon El-Shami. Far side of the field for North Georgia. Now to Natalie McGuire. McGuire. That one's going to be out of bounds right in the area over by Nikki Gomez. Gomez passes this one off to where it eventually gets into Maysoon El-Shami, Bailey Vessel. That one's going to get blocked by an Albany State player, and the ball's going to sail towards the backfield where Sierra Fowler will be there for North Georgia. .36-minute mark, 9 minutes into this one. Ariel Arnoff down there for North Georgia. Bryant Properties, a commercial real estate brokerage firm that specializes in commercial real estate along the Georgia 400 corridor, is a proud partner of North Georgia Athletics. North Georgia trying to build the foundation on getting the first goal scored of the game, as they've been pretty dominant on Albany State's side of the field so far. That ball sails out of bounds. So it's going to be a throw-in from the corner.
Yeah, I believe there's been a clock stoppage here. Looks like a Golden Ram took one off of the chest there on the throw-in. Maybe knocked the wind out of her.
Looks like it's number 9, Hannah Oliver. This clock rolls back, and the whistle's called. Madison Steyer in the backfield for the Golden Rams. It's going to bounce off the chest of Peyton Johnson, where North Georgia regains possession. Natalie McGuire down there. Maysoon El-Shami as well inside the box. El-Shami's going to try to get this one into the goal, and that one was almost passed in, but a couple of Golden Rams got right inside the box, and the ball heads closer towards midfield. And the whistle's going to be called, and it looks like it's going to be a trip. Trying to see the Nighthawk that was involved in that one that got tripped. It's on the far side of the field. Looks like it is Alex Clark, possibly, that got tripped up. Bailey Vessel. It's an over in midfield area now. Back over to Michelle LaPenta. Adley Wheeler passing this one to Natalie McGuire. Madison Steyer waiting to kick this one off from their own territory. North Georgia, Alex Clark back in possession of her. Gets tripped up where Dan Lee Bears is there, and that's going to hit just off the crossbar. And the ball nearly sails out of bounds, but is going to get kicked out of bounds by a Golden Ram player. Looks like Dan Lee Bears is back there where it's going to be a free kick for Albany State. going to be headed by Abigail Dalebout. Jordan Keene back there as well. Riley Bain. And North Georgia regains with Adley Wheeler. One's going to get headed by off a Golden Ram player where Ariel Arnoff makes a nice play and gets it off to Natalie McGuire. And that ball is going to roll out of bounds.
Yeah, Devin, what you're seeing right now is a lot of clears out of bounds. Like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, a lot of more of a survival mentality to survive the Nighthawk attack and then try to steal one on an offensive possession.
And if you're talking about survive, Albany State, when you look at their Peach Belt Conference statistics, they rank first in the PBC in saves with 115 saves on the season. Second place is USC Aiken with 59. So that is almost 60 more saves than second place USC Aiken has. And that one's going to get bounced off and almost could have gotten into the goal, but is ultimately too high.
That'll be another corner for the Nighthawks. The defender got right in front of that header attempt, and it bounced right off of her over the net.
That one's going to get headed in, but it's going to be too high for North Georgia. 15 minutes into the game, if you're just joining us, North Georgia in clear possession of the ball in this game so far, 15 minutes in. Ball has maybe crossed the midfield point into North Georgia territory twice, maybe twice with Albany State in possession of the ball. North Georgia, where Adley Wheeler passed this one to Alex Clark. Clark going to try to get that one to someone near inside the box, but it's going to go out of bounds. So far, might have seen more kicks from Madison Steyer of Albany State than we really have of any other player in today's game so far from the Golden Rams team. Ball bouncing off right off of Ariel Arnoff. Bailey Vessel on the near side, trying to prevent that ball from going out of bounds. Vessel there, but it looks like the refs are going to rule the ball did roll out of bounds. Also, it appears that Adam McGuire had to get up, tie her shoe there. It's a little battle from Adley Wheeler and Hannah Oliver. As Maysoon El-Shami passes this one to Ariel Arnoff. Arnoff going to try to get that one in, but it's going to be, looks like it's going to be blocked by Raylan Watts at the goal line, at the near of the goalpost, but North Georgia unable to capitalize on that one.
Yeah, the defense is really helping out the goalkeeper. I think most of the saves have been a defensive save. You know, one of the defenders steps in the way and knocks it out of bounds or away from the goal at least. So you can tell that they have experience playing in this style and just, kind of sitting back on their own end. And, it seems to be working. It could be frustrating for an offense to have so much possession and not come away with a goal. So it'll be important for North Georgia to kind of hold themselves accountable and kind of just keep their heads straight about this and just know that a goal can come and will come if they keep up with the pressure.
And we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast these two teams on different sides of the coin, if you would say, when it comes to winning percentage and goals scored on the season. But both in their last 5 games, both Albany State and North Georgia have scored 6 goals. But as you said, the frustration getting a goal in, especially early, where 4 out of the last 6 goals for North Georgia have come in the second half of their games. North Georgia trying to make their first goal here. Mackenzie Minor trying to get that ball back into the possession of Albany State as Albany State looks to try to make a run into North Georgia territory where ball's just going to sail right out of bounds. Bailey Fessel deep in North Georgia territory. Try to get this one back into Albany State territory. Get their first goal up on the board today. Adley Wheeler, the midfield point for North Georgia. Adley Wheeler trying to get that one into the goal, but it's going to get eventually blocked by a Golden Ram player. Maysoon El-Shami in the backfield for North Georgia on the far side. El-Shami trying to make a drive in towards inside the box. He's going to pass this one to Ariel Arnoff, where the ball is going to go right out of bounds. That ball is going to go right off the feet of Hannah Oliver, and it's going to end up right back into North Georgia's hands. Vessel throws this one in to Katie Durkay, where now the ball ends up in the feet of Michelle LaPenta. LaPenta passes this one towards midfield, where it's going to get intercepted by Riley Bain of Albany State. Now ball back in possession of North Georgia. Nikki Gomez on the far side of the field for North Georgia. Gomez trying to get inside the box. She's going to try and pass this one into the back of the net, and it is actually going to be saved by Madison Steyer. She got right on top of the ball and prevents a North Georgia goal from being scored. 20 minutes into this one.
Yeah, great play by Steyer, just being able to handle that ball. It was coming in from close range, and had to make the save, had to get a piece of that ball, or there was a Nighthawk waiting to score there.
Natalie McGuire trying to get that ball out, getting out of a jam. Maysoon El-Shami passing this one to Alex Clark. Nikki Gomez in the backfield. In the far side, let's pass this one towards midfield, and Michelle LaPenta to Vessel. Vessel to Wheeler, back to Vessel. Vessel going to pass this one to Ariel Arnoff. Ariel try to get that one in, but can't get the pass to Natalie McGuire. Natalie McGuire just missing that kick, where it's going to sail far right of the goalpost.
Yeah, Arnoff has made some pretty good plays over here on this left side, beating her defender. It appears she's on a one-on-one most of the time, so she makes one move, makes the defender miss. And that was a good pass. McGuire just maybe mishit it or didn't put it exactly where she wanted to, but you can see the offense developing, or the attack developing for North Georgia early on.
Looks like there's a substitution for Albany State. River City Bank is a proud partner of North Georgia Athletics. Their personal banking products were designed with your unique needs in mind and proudly serve the Rome, Blairsville, and Dawsonville community. Check out River City Bank in your area. Looks like Taylor Holmes stepped on the field for Albany State. North Georgia deep in the box again. That ball is going to sail right out of bounds. So Albany State making an early sub in this game so far. Nikki Gomez, far side of the field, passing that one to Alex Clark, where now Mackenzie Minor lands up in possession of the ball for Albany State. Maysoon El-Shami beats Hannah Oliver to the ball, and North Georgia regains possession. Michelle LaPenta passing that one to Elise Buracy. That ball's going to go land out of bounds right over in the Alex Clark area. Ball was passed in to Natalie McGuire, but the ball's going to fall right out of bounds, and it's going to be an Alex Clark throw-in. Clark throwing that one in back into McGuire. McGuire's going to pass that one off to Nikki Gomez. Gomez going to get that one to El Shami. Back to Alex Clark. Alex Clark going to try to make it in, and it is in the back of the net. Alex Clark gets North Georgia's first goal of the ball game. North Georgia leading 1-0 over Albany State. Gets it in at the 22nd mark of the soccer game, and that is North Georgia's first goal of the game over Albany State.
Yeah, well-placed shot there. You can kind of see the goalkeeper is usually a field player normally in most of their games, so she went after it with her feet and not her hands. So that kind of shows a little bit of the inexperience in the goalkeeping position. Naturally, she went for it with her feet because she normally plays in the field, but it didn't work out that time. Maybe a diving save could have got there, but regardless, a well-placed shot.
That is Albany State's 12th goal allowed in the last two games. They've gotten shut out in their last two games against Lander and GCSU, losing at home against Lander 2-0, and then on the road at Georgia College State University, losing on the road 9-0. North Georgia trying to capitalize on that goal and try to get their second one of the day. Ball currently around midfield. This one's going to get past to Adley Wheeler. Wheeler pass this one to the back. Now Wheeler towards the near side of the field. Passes it to Alex Clark. And we're going to have another opportunity here. Katie Durkay in the back of the net for North Georgia. North Georgia putting up their second goal within 2 minutes of the first goal being scored. North Georgia going up 2-0 early in this contest.
Yeah, now you see kind of the floodgates have opened up on the Golden Ram defense. They hung around for a little bit, but it seems like the North Georgia attack is getting going and doing it quickly.
North Georgia starting to click here early, where we mentioned earlier in their last 5 games, 4 out of the 6 goals scored in the second half of their games. But so far in today's game, our first 2 goals have come in within the first 25 minutes of this matchup. North Georgia currently in dominant possession. Ball bouncing around Ariel Arnoff, where it's going to eventually go right out of bounds. But North Georgia getting the early edge over Albany State. Vessel throws this one into Durkay. Maysoon El Shami on the near side of the field passes this one to Ariel Arnoff. Ariel Arnoff beats a couple of defenders. Is going to make a charge towards the goal, where it looks like Jordan Keene comes up with a great save it was Kirsten Thomas that came in, made the sliding dive to prevent a third North Georgia goal.
Yeah, solid slide tackle there. Got the ball first. Arnoff got tripped up, but they got to the ball first. So good no call and good play.
So I'm going to be kicked in towards back of the area, and it's going to sail right out of bounds. It looked like Katie Durkay was right in the area where the ball landed.
Looks like it's going to be another corner for North Georgia. The Wheelers got to run all the way to the other corner to take the second one.
Looks like Abigail Dalebout not too happy with, I guess, the call of who the ball should have been out of bounds on. But yeah. Wheeler going to kick this one in for North Georgia.
I think they may be saying that didn't touch anybody, so it should be out on the corner.
Kick up on the way, and that one's going to be too high to get towards the back of the net. There's currently 18 minutes left to go in this first half. North Georgia up 2-0.
Looks like Alexa Aronoff has just entered the game.
Alexa Aronoff, sophomore out of Decula, younger sister to who we've said a lot on this broadcast, Ariel Aronoff, who is a senior this year. And North Georgia trying to capitalize on open field in the backfield where Ariel Aronoff was, and it looks like the whistles were called.
It's going to be a penalty kick right there. It looks like, just as we were saying her name, Ariel Aronoff gets the foul call in the box. Looks like number 14 may have fouled her. And we're going to get a penalty kick here.
Taylor Holmes coming onto the field a couple of minutes ago for Albany State. We're going to get a penalty kick opportunity here for North Georgia. North Georgia looking to get their third goal of the game. Third goal of the game, but third goal of the first half. And it looks like it's going to be Michelle LaPenta there, one-on-one with Madison Steyer. Michelle LaPenta hits this one back into the net. This is the third goal of the game. UNG, count them. Third goal of the game, and this one scored by a third different Nighthawk, Michelle LaPenta.
Yeah, good to see LaPenta step up to the spot there on senior day. Puts it to the right of the keeper. Like we said earlier, it's going to be tough, especially on a penalty kick for, an inexperienced goalkeeper, someone that usually plays the field, to be able to handle that. They kind of need to have a guess before they kick it, know where to dive, and it looks like they were just unprepared for that.
So we're going to kick this one off with Albany State in possession. Taylor Holmes. That one's going to get right back into North Georgia possession, but it's going to get intercepted by, looks like, Kirsten Thomas, but goal scorer Michelle LaPenta comes up on the recovery, and Sierra Fowler, haven't called her name too much, back there kicking the ball to another North Georgia player. Adley Wheeler. Back over to Vessel. Back over to Clark on the far side of the field. Back to Wheeler. Wheeler going to pass this one over and toward the area of, and there's going to be a great save made by an Albany State player, and then eventually Madison Steyer is going to come up for it for Albany State.
Yeah, almost ended up in the goal. Almost was an own goal there, but a good job by the Gold Rams to get in front of that and get it away.
If it was going to be an own goal, it looked like it could have been either Taylor Holmes or Kirsten Thomas, because that ball did go a little bit high, but just missed the crossbar where it could have gone in. North Georgia regaining possession of the ball. Feels like the Golden Rams have not had possession in North Georgia territory in about 15 to 20 minutes now. North Georgia currently dominating in that realm from the 30-minute mark onwards, scoring 3 goals within the past 10 minutes. Throw in again. This one in Adley Wheeler's Elise Buracy. Passes this one to Michelle LaPenta. Bailey Vessel. Passing it over to Buracy. And this one over in Adley Wheeler's area. Wheeler going to pass this one towards Ariel Arnoff, where it's going to be met by a couple of Albany State players. Nikki Gomez in possession for North Georgia. Gomez going to pass this one in towards inside the box, where it's going to be met by Albany State players. But looks like Katie Durkay back in possession for North Georgia. Ariel Arnoff. Durkay right there in the middle of the back of the box, and it's going to go into the back of the net. Katie Durkay's second goal of the game puts North Georgia up 4-0 over Albany State.
Yeah, that was a very well-placed shot. Literally top left corner. Nothing you can really do about that.
North Georgia goal by number 8, Katie Durkay. Here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park is North Georgia 4, Albany State 0.
Katie Durkay, 2 goals on the game so far. 2 goals scored really within the last 10 and a half minutes. Pretty impressive showing where North Georgia putting the domination on Albany State so far. Up 4-0 over Albany State. We have 13 minutes left to go in the first half. Katie Durkay, the goal scorer right there for North Georgia around the midfield point, passes it to another goal scorer, Michelle LaPenta. And now in the far side of the field, we've got, looks like we got, and this one's going to go into the box, but it's going to sail out of bounds. And it looks like that was Alexa Arnoff back there for North Georgia, but it's going to sail out of bounds. Madison Steyer going to kick this one off for Albany State.
Stepping on for North Georgia, number 17, Kate Garth.
Kate Garth stepping on for North Georgia, a sophomore out of Athens.
And now in goal for the Nighthawks is number 1, Margot Perry.
Margot Perry replacing Sierra Fowler in the goalkeeping position. Haven't called too much of any of the goalkeeper except for Madison Steyer. Yeah. And this one's going to go towards the back of the net, or it's going to just hit the upper part of the crossbar. And that would have been an incredible goal by, it looked like Adley Wheeler was there. Would have been the fourth separate Nighthawk to score a goal in today's game. Durkay, Pat gets this one over to Wheeler. Vessel on the near side of the field. Passes it to Michelle LaPenta. Kate Garth in the far side of the field. Passes this one to Alexa Arnoff. Arnoff. It's going to bounce off looks like it's going to bounce off Dan Lee Bears. And it's going to be a North Georgia throw-in. Arnoff throws this one into Durkay. That one's going to get in towards the net, but it's going to hit the side of the net. Not a North Georgia player in sight. Closest one there was Nikki Gomez, but there was a ton of Albany State defenders in the box.
Yeah, it looks like the cross was meant to go back post to Nikki Gomez, but maybe just set a little right, maybe a miss hit into the side of the net.
Kicked in. Maysoon El-Shami right there for North Georgia. Whistle called. Under 10 minutes to go in this first half of the game. So far, North Georgia 4-0 over Albany State.
And now you might see maybe a little bit more of an aggressive attack from Albany State. The sitting back is not really working as well as they would probably have hoped coming in. So they're going to have to find an opportunity to score a goal. So if they get possession, look to see a more aggressive attack from the Golden Rams here for the rest of the game.
This one inside the box, going to bounce out of bounds. As I mentioned earlier, they've been outscored 11-0 in their last two games. Now it's 15-0 if you include this one so far. And when teams start to take advantage of even though you have the most saves in the Peach Belt, teams start taking advantage and executing is when things start to get a little dicey on the defensive side.
Yeah, well, when you have the most saves, that also means your defenders and your back line are working harder than maybe the rest of the league. So you get worn down having to sustain this many shots and this many, saves. So I think most of the time, like we saw in the first 20 minutes of the game, they kind of held strong. They were surviving. But now they're down 4 goals, so you're going to have to move from just surviving to try to get and cut into that deficit a little bit.
Adley Wheeler right there at midfield battling it with with Jordan Keene. This one's going to get into North Georgia territory, and it's really the first time we've seen Albany State in North Georgia territory with possession of the ball instead of North Georgia having possession in their own territory. So that's the first time we've seen that in probably about 20 minutes now, where North Georgia's come out as the dominant team, leading 4-0 over Albany State. Ball moves back into Golden Ram territory. Maysoon El-Shami passes this one to Alexa Arnoff, where Maysoon El-Shami is right there, passes it to Katie Durkay. Durkay trying to spin out of a couple of defenders. Alexa Arnoff right there is going to kick it towards the goal, but it's going to go sail way too high over the goal. So this should be another kick in for Albany State, and it looks like Amila Tiggs coming on for Albany State's going to replace Mackenzie Minor.
Albany State, number 10, Amila Tiggs.
An aggressive hold by, looks like not Norma Hernandez, but Hannah Oliver on Nikki Gomez on the near side of the field.
Yeah, it looks like both were fighting for position. Call goes to the Golden Rams on Nikki Gomez.
Peyton Johnson kicked this one deep for Albany State. Angie Garcia on the far side of the field for North Georgia. This one's going to bounce out of bounds. Katie Durkay right there at the midfield point. Pass this one to Angie Garcia. Back over to Alexa Arnoff. Garcia back in possession again. Passes it to Alexa. Alexa trying to make something work where it's going to be, looks like it's going to be deflected off of an Albany State player. It looks like North Georgia is going to regain control of the ball. Adley Wheeler going to kick this one in for North Georgia. North Georgia looking for their 5th goal of the game. Wheeler kicks this one in over to Garcia. And that one's going to be saved by Madison Steyer at the end. Maysoon Al-Shami was the player on the goal attempt for North Georgia, right there in the middle of the box. Vessel there for North Georgia, currently in the feet of Amelia Tiggs. Tiggs passing this one to Jordan Keene, where now Nikki Gomez and the Nighthawks retake possession. And this ball goes out of bounds. It's going to be thrown by Gomez to Maysoon El-Shami. Shami passes this one to Ariel Arnoff, but just sails over her head where Madison Steyer is going to come up with the grab for the Golden Rams. Steyer kicks this one over towards midfield where it's met immediately by Wheeler. Wheeler gets this one to El-Shami, and this one could have almost been met by Ariel Arnoff and would have been a clear one-on-one situation, and Arnoff would have gotten to the back of the net. Under 4 minutes to go in this first half. Katie Durkay there for North Georgia. Maysoon El-Shami gets that ball blocked by Raylan Watts, and that ball goes out of bounds. Chick-fil-A of Dahlonega is the presenting sponsor of the Nighthawk of the Week Award, and we're going to get to that one in just a second, and it's just far to the left of the goal. But back to the sponsor read. Chick-fil-A of Dahlonega is the presenting sponsor of the Nighthawk of the Week Award and a proud partner of North Georgia Athletics. If you're looking for great food nearby, it's Chick-fil-A's pleasure to serve you. And with how many goals North Georgia in the possession that they've had deep into Albany State territory, it's hard not to take your eyes off the field for a second and get some of those much-needed sponsor reads in. This one's going to be intercepted by Nikki Gomez. Nikki going to try to get that one into the back of the net, and it's going to go just off the crossbar, but still in play. Katie Durkay in possession for North Georgia is going to pass this one. It's going to get back into Albany State territory.
A lot of action on the crossbar today so far. I think that's maybe 3 or 4 that have hit off the crossbar. And then you add in the 4 goals that have already happened. This game could be out of hand already if the crossbar wasn't there.
All 4 goals scored within the last 22 minutes of the game. Vessel on the near side passes it to Gomez. Gomez to El-Shami. El-Shami's pass gets blocked, but it's going to get to Ariel Arnoff. Ariel Arnoff is going to get to the back of the net. It is in. Goal number 5 scored by Ariel Arnoff as North Georgia goes up 5-0 over Albany State with under 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Georgia goal by number 20, Ariel Arnoff. The new score here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park is North Georgia 5.
All 5 goals scored in the last 22 minutes. And Bailey Vessel in the backfield for North Georgia. North Georgia to capitalize, trying to get their 6th goal of the game on. Currently, it's a battle at midfield with Angie Garcia and Jordan Keene, Kirsten Thomas. And Albany State trying to make a run here, but Margot Perry going to come up with the ball as we hit under 1 minute to go in half number 1. This pass out to Kate Garth in the backfield. Pass over back to Garth. Garth over to Angie Garcia. Now to Adley Wheeler to Maysoon El-Shami at midfield. El-Shami's going to pass this one to Gomez. Gomez has got some clear field to work with. Gomez is trying to put North Georgia's 6th goal up on the board. Gomez is going to pass this one in. It just misses the goal. Just misses that right post. What could have been North Georgia's 6th goal of the half. So we're going to reach 10 seconds to go in this first half for North Georgia.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
And we are going to hit halftime here at Lincoln Trail Park at the UNG soccer field. North Georgia up 5-0 over Albany State. North Georgia trying to improve their Peach Belt Conference standings. And we will be back for the second half right here on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
I'm here.
You've got a lot of reasons to be here. That's why we're here at Georgia Heart Institute, where advanced heart attack treatments save more hearts than anywhere in Georgia.
My baby girl is home.
Georgia Heart Institute.
Since 2007, we've seen an explosion in popularity of superhero movies in the last decade. Rayner argues that superhero films offer an escape from the boredom many of us feel with our lives. We love the epic. We want epic lives. There's a tension you're going to face as you celebrate, walk out of this door, and you go to Monday and you say, what's next? And more importantly, how do I live a superhero life? John Gordon, he's a best-selling author on leadership. This is what he says. There's a myth about success, graduates. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. One that says it's all about you. But here's the truth. You're not a real success unless you're helping others be successful. That's the greatest self-growth strategy of all time. The more you help others grow and improve, you grow and improve. Focus on others. It's not about you. And you'll find something even greater than success. Graduates, you'll find significance. But remember, in all of this, there's a tension. How do I live a superhero life? Enter the epic by being bold. Your family, your community, our state, and our nation are all counting on you. Graduates, today we celebrate you. We celebrate your hard work. We celebrate your diligence. We celebrate your commitment. And I am so incredibly proud of you.
You can't really get an idea of how another country runs their military till you go abroad.
It was cool to see their outlook on just life in general. To be there as a global ambassador is definitely a life-changing experience.
I participated in the Management College National Defense University Cadet Exchange. That is located in Taipei, Taiwan.
So I participated in study abroad internship in country of Georgia. The program I participated in was the Swiss Summer Mountaineering course. The experience was extremely professional. There were people from different militaries across the world. I was training with soldiers that were once our adversaries. It's fun to notice the importance of diplomatic relations and also civil affairs through the military.
The host school was always really going out of their way to help us get the full cultural experience because we were, in their eyes, only going to be there for 5 months.
They drove us out and we hiked to a glacier. That was unique, especially coming from Tennessee. There's no ice walls to climb. Their native language of Georgian was very difficult. However, at the end, I gave a little speech in Georgian, thanking their academy. It was an eye-opening experience. One thing I learned in Switzerland was to try and enjoy everything that you're doing, no matter how challenging it is.
Being able to see the country of your target language in person and really living day to day can move your passion to continue learning the language that much further.
All the conferences, all the internship, and all the exchange programs will help you as you develop, not just as a soldier, but also as a person. I think everybody in the Corps should study abroad because it will develop them so much.
If you have a free semester, it's the perfect time to explore a country. There's really not much holding you back in terms of whether or not you should go. It's a great experience.
I got extremely valuable training and just an overall incredible life experience that I wouldn't have gotten going to any other school. And it was the opportunity of a lifetime.
My wife's family is full of medical professionals, including lots of nurses. The more they talk to me about nursing, the more I realize there are so many different opportunities within the field of nursing. You can constantly continue growing, continue learning, which was something that really drew me to it. I was really attracted to the accelerated program at UNG for a couple reasons. One, I heard that UNG, like everything I've heard about UNG's nursing program is incredible. I have a couple friends who have been through it in recent years and had just spoke very highly of it. Just everything I've seen online, spoken about it, it's just a very reputable program. So UNG was already a pretty clear choice for me. And then seeing the opportunity to do an accelerated program, it was kind of a no-brainer. Honestly, I get to graduate earlier, and one of the things that appealed to me the most actually was that most of our clinical rotations are at Northeast Georgia Medical Center. I am really thankful for the faculty that are specifically dedicated to the ABSN program here. This faculty, they really want to see us succeed in this program and be the best nurses we can possibly be.
From the moment you know where you are headed, it starts a journey that you will never forget. For those who seek a higher calling, to serve something bigger than themselves and take the path less traveled, UNG awaits to prepare you for your leadership pathway. Once you're here, you will be challenged and developed, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Freshman Recruit Orientation Group, or Frog Week, is the first step of the UNG journey. The commitment, the attitude, the efforts, and the resilience take shape as you move forward on a pathway that most will never attempt.
Y'all got 2 minutes to change into OCPs. Time now. Let's go. Move it. Move it. Move it.
It is a process that teaches you about yourself and makes you better than you were yesterday. At times, it can be a struggle, but it's also an investment in yourself. Like life, it can create moments of doubt. You learn about yourself and your strengths and weaknesses. You share this journey with the men and women to your left and right, establishing lifelong bonds with the understanding that nothing worth having ever comes easy. But through adversity, you build strength, determination, and the desire to never quit. Frog Week will establish a foundation to build upon, strengthen you physically and mentally, and start shaping you into the leader you came here to be. For cadets at the University of North Georgia, they take the road less traveled, avoid taking the easy way out, and develop instrumental values that will prepare them for a life of service and leadership. Some people talk about it, others are about it.
Whenever you're ready.
We welcome you back here, and we're going to get the second half started underway shortly here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park, where it's been absolute domination by North Georgia, scoring 5 goals in the last 22 or so minutes of the first half. And currently on your screen, you're looking at all of the goals scored by the 4 different Nighthawks. Katie Durkay getting 2 of those goals. We're looking at the 4th goal. North Georgia, 5 goals. As I said, 20 in the last 23 minutes makes you wonder how many could possibly be scored in the second half of the game on what is a absolutely gorgeous weather day here at North Georgia. So North Georgia leads 5-0. Albany State still looking for their first goal of the game. And we're going to take a look at some of the stats for this game so far between these two teams. 5 goals by North Georgia, 4 assists. North Georgia's had 19 shots on the goal, 9 shots on goal, and 7 corners. And while reading through that list, nothing for Albany State University on the left side. What has been an absolute domination, and we talked about it in the beginning of the broadcast. 2 teams on the different ends of the spectrum, especially even when it comes to in-conference as well, where if you look at the Peach Belt standings, look at the Peach Belt standings for women's soccer. North Georgia currently in the 4th position at 4-0-1. Albany State at 0-4-1, second to last. North Georgia could possibly get up into that second place territory, maybe even first place, but some things are going to have to go their way today. If we take a look at the Peach Belt scoreboard for women's soccer, Lander faced off against Flagler earlier today. Lander beat them 2-0. USC Buford taking on Allen, beat them 8-2. USC Buford coming up with the win in a non-Peach Belt conference matchup. And then the game in Milledgeville today, a key one for North Georgia to look at as Columbus State and Georgia College and State University faced off against each other. Columbus State coming up with the 3-1 victory over GCSU in a Peach Belt matchup. Take a look at, and then we also got another one that's going to be kicking off a little bit later today. Georgia Southwestern taking on USC Aiken in a crucial Peach Belt game, and that will kick off at 5 p.m. And the only game currently going on is the North Georgia-Albany State game, where North Georgia leads 5-0 over Albany State. And with that said, standings shifted around a little bit earlier today. Columbus State is now in first place at 5-0-1. Flagler in second at 4-1-2. Lander at 4-2-1. North Georgia at 4-0-1. If North Georgia goes on to win the game, they will be second place right behind Columbus State.
Yeah, they'll be actually tied with Columbus State for first in the conference at 5-0-1. So that matchup, the Columbus State North Georgia matchup, is getting juicier and juicier as the season goes on, and even more so when you realize the Columbus State comes here to play in the final game of the regular season.
Yeah, and that's going to be a very big one indeed, as after this game, North Georgia only has 4 games left on their schedule. 3 out of the 4 are going to be Peach Belt, and 3 out of those 4 are also going to be at home, which North Georgia hasn't played too many games at home, currently sitting at a 2-0-1 record at home, meaning they've only played 3 games at home, but this being their 4th today, and then they got 3 more coming up, which means their last 3 games in a row, Georgia College, GCSU, Limestone, Columbus State, all at home. They're going to be traveling to USC Aiken on Wednesday. 3 Peach Belt games, all three of them critical if they're going to want to win the Peach Belt Conference or get on the top of the Peach Belt Conference standings. Columbus State being that final game, TJ, has got you wondering, with Young Harris out of the Peach Belt now and teams not necessarily required to play them anymore, you think that North Georgia, Columbus State might have a little bit of a rivalry going on?
Potentially. I think, it's a three-headed monster normally at the top of the Peach Belt standings with Flagler, Columbus State, and North Georgia. We saw Flagler come into town a couple weeks ago, and they ended in a 2-2 draw. So it'll be interesting to see how Columbus State comes out in that final matchup of the year. I know that Flagler and Columbus State also tied in their matchup this season. So it's getting very interesting at the top of the standings. Flagler dropping one today at Lander hurts their chances to become the Peach Belt Conference regular season champion. But as we know, in the postseason, anything is possible. So just because they probably don't have a straight shot at the Peach Belt Conference regular season championship, they're always dangerous late in the year in the postseason. So definitely some rivalries can be continued, really. I think, especially with the programs that all three schools have, they're kind of always vying for that top spot in the standings.
And note that Flagler loss to Lander is going to bring Flagler actually to their first loss of the season. Flagler, if you remember, North Georgia played about a couple of weeks ago, or about a month ago now, and they were number 11 ranked at the time, tied them 2-2 right here at the UNG soccer field at Lincoln Trail Park. North Georgia's played actually a few ranked opponents. Number 19 Lee tied them 1-1. Tied Flagler 2-2 and lost to number 2 Catawba 1-2. And if you look at it, that's a good sign for North Georgia going forward, as they're really competitive in those ranked games against elite teams.
Absolutely. They've had a tough schedule, and it makes them better every time out. They get more experience. They probably have the most experience against these top-tier teams of any team in the conference and maybe the country. We played Lee, we played Flagler, we've played Catawba, and even some of the teams that aren't ranked. UNC Pembroke is usually pretty good. That was the opener of the season. And then Columbus State will probably earn a ranking by the end of the season, I would guess. So at least 4, maybe 5, 6 ranked teams could end up on their schedule at the end of the year.
And it's going to be something to certainly look out for as the second half is underway here at the UNG soccer field. Misoun El-Shami right there at midfield for North Georgia. Shami is going to pass this one over to,
I believe that's Darby Olive, number 16.
Darby Olive copping into the game for the second half. And this one, Nighthawk gets tripped up right there near the box.
Looks like it may have been Liv Sullins that took the hit there. This is going to be a pretty dangerous free kick for North Georgia right outside of the box.
So let's see who the Nighthawk that's going to be on there for the kick. Put up possibly their 6th goal of the season. Let's see. El-Shami is going to get this one back into the back of the net. 6-0 North Georgia, and fireworks to start the second half of the game.
Yeah, well-placed free kick there. I said before it was kicked, it was going to be dangerous. It's in a dangerous spot. And there it was.
That is another different Nighthawk to get by Misoun El-Shami this time. That's 5 different goal scorers for North Georgia on the game. And here's an interesting stat. North Georgia up 6-0. Katie Durkay, the only North Georgia player to get multiple goals in this game. But if you look at it on this season, and North Georgia driving deep into Albany State territory, and Darby Olive up there to get it back into North Georgia possession, passes this on the far side of the field to Nicky Gomez. This one passed over to Liv Sullins, and that one's going to be nearly battled out and almost could have been in the goal. Looks like Katie Durkay was in over there. Now this one's getting passed over to the midfield area to Michelle LaPenta, and whistles are called. And looks like a possible Albany State player is down in it. And a stat that I was going over earlier, we've had 5 different Nighthawks score goals in this game. If you look at Albany State, on the whole season, they've scored 7 goals on the whole entire season, made up between 3 different Golden Ram players. North Georgia today has 5 different scores, so it really tells you the tale of this matchup and where the two teams currently reside in their programs. So we're waiting for action to resume. Not too sure what's going on. Maybe to see who this is going to be kicked off by, and that's going to be kicked off by Nicky Gomez. Raylan Watts stepping back out on the field for the Golden Rams. Kate Garth on the near side of the field for North Georgia passes this one to Megan O'Brien. So it's going to be a free kick for North Georgia. It's going to be kicked in, where it's going to be met by a couple of Golden Ram defenders. And Madison Steyer is going to kick this one away for North Georgia, or for Albany State. And this one is going to get deep into North Georgia territory. It's going to be a one-on-one situation, and that one is going to go into the back of the net for Albany State. And it looks like that goal was scored by Jordan Keene of Albany State. And in fact, Jordan Keene was actually the last Golden Ram to get a goal scored 3 games ago against USC Aiken, where they tied them 1-1. Jordan Keene getting an assist by Mackenzie Miner in that game. Jordan Keene getting another goal, and that is Albany State's 8th goal of the season.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Albany State was looking for kind of at the beginning of the game, you know, like we said, surviving and then finding those opportunities like the one they just got there. I'm sure that, you know, they would have liked to play a little bit better on the defensive side, but I'm sure it's good for them and kind of their confidence to be able to see one go in right there.
And this one's going to get into the feet of Chloe Diaz. And that one's... Now it's going to be Liv Sullins. Pass back over to Misoon El-Shami. North Georgia trying to get their 7th goal in the back of the net today. We're under 40 minutes left to go in this matchup. And that one's going to almost go right in, but it's going to be battled off the hand of Madison Steyer. Kate Garth passing this one to Megan O'Brien. Darby Olive there for North Georgia. Now back in the possession of Katie Durkay. Back over to Darby. Darby, this one's going to go right over the cross post, and it's going to go over the goal. And North Georgia trying to make something happen again. And that one is going to go into the back of the net for the 7th time today. Liv Sullins, the 6th different Nighthawk to get a goal today, puts them up 7-1 over Albany State. Liv Sullins on the skull gore there.
Soccer field at Lake Control Park is North Georgia 7, Albany State 1.
And this will be her second goal of her career with North Georgia, with her first goal coming earlier this season against Georgia Southwestern. And that's definitely something you want to see, TJ, especially given that 7 senior players are going to be leaving this North Georgia Nighthawk squad at the end of the year.
Yeah, these are the kind of games, 7-1, the game is pretty much in hand. So this is the time to get some development to show kind of what the future of the program looks like. We're going to see a lot of, faces that we haven't seen this year. We're going to see some goal scorers that haven't scored before this year. And with this lineup, that actually means a lot because I think that a lot of our goals have been scored by different players. There's a lot of production on both sides.
North Georgia trying to make something happen again for an 8th time. Kick from the backfield is going to be immediately intercepted by Chloe Diaz. North Georgia trying to make something happen again, and the goalkeeper, Madison Steyer, almost drops that ball. And that looked like that would have been another Liv Sullins goal back-to-back. And now Darby Olive in the far side of the field for North Georgia kicks this one out of bounds. And it's going to be back in the hands of Albany State. As North Georgia regains possession pretty much immediately. Chloe Diaz right there for North Georgia. Now North Georgia trying to make something happen again. Megan O'Brien there for North Georgia. O'Brien trying to get that one in. Nighthawk not in sight. As Albany State is going to try to make some magic as they go try and attempt to go downfield, but they're going to overkick Jordan Keene, and it's going to end up in the hands of Margot Perry. Megan O'Brien at the midfield point for North Georgia passes this one to Kate Garth. Garth passes this one to El Shami. This one over to Diaz. Diaz. One's going to go out of bounds. Amelia Tigg stepping on for Albany State.
When it hits 24, you say it, or 25. 25, you can say it.
This one back in possession of North Georgia. Michelle LaPenta. Passing this one over to O'Brien, and that one is going to go into the back of the net, and it looks like it was Katie Durkay. UNG, count them, 3 goals for Katie Durkay as North Georgia goes up 8-1 over Albany State.
North Georgia goal by
Katie Durkay's third goal of the game so far puts North Georgia up 8-1, and I kind of find it fitting because her jersey number is number 8, and that is the number of goals that North Georgia has in this one so far early in the second half. As Liv Sullins is in possession for North Georgia, gets it over to Katie Durkay, and this one's going to get caught up by a Albany State player. This one over to El Shami, and now it's going to be chased by Sullins, and it's going to be broken up by Raylan Watts. Liv Sullins had a great opportunity to get her second goal of the game, if not tripped up. Now it looks like North Georgia and Albany State making substitutions. We're going to get those substitutions to you in a minute. Goal kick for North Georgia. This one's going to get tried and attempted to be headed in. A lot of Albany State players where it's eventually just going to be caught by Madison Steyer.
stepping on for North Georgia, number 23, Natalie McGuire.
Natalie McGuire coming back into the game for North Georgia.
Stepping on for North Georgia is number 26,
Alexa Arnoff also coming back in from North Georgia. We saw her towards the end of the first half of this game. Oh, and that one almost went into the back of the net. Amira Muhammad coming in for Albany State. That was all part of the substitutions going in and out. Jitterbug Party Rentals, a trusted partner for all your inflatable and event rental needs, is a proud sponsor of North Georgia Athletics. Their mission is to provide an easy, safe, clean, and professional rental experience to the North Georgia area. As North Georgia regaining possession once again, that one's going to be a deep kick by, looks like, might have been Kirsten Thomas over to the midfield area, but North Georgia regaining control. This one over to Emma Martin. And now it looks like Kate Garth in the backside of the field. And this one now in the control of, looked like Liv Sullins. And now back over into Emma Martin. Martin passes this one to El Shami. El Shami is going to do a long goal, but it's going to be picked up by Madison Steyer. We've got 30 minutes left to go in this one. North Georgia up 8-1 over Albany State. Be a throw in for North Georgia. Chloe Diaz. 30 minutes left to go in this game where North Georgia leading 8-1 over Albany State. Maysoon El Shami. Pass that one over to Diaz. Diaz in the middle of a couple of Albany State defenders. Jordan Keene over there for Albany State, but it's going to get picked up right back again by Diaz. Where Darby Olive in the backfield for North Georgia. Now, it looks like Emma Martin. Back over to Martin. Martin trying to make something happen, where now it's just going to get picked up right by Mackenzie Minor. North Georgia back in control. Alexa Arnoff. Now to Megan O'Brien. And that one's going to sail over the goal, kicked up into the air, where it's going to be met, and it's just going to sail right of the goalpost. And Albany State's going to be exchanging players. And it looks like Kai Walker stepping on for Albany State. Maysoon El Shami. I was bouncing off a couple of Albany State players. Back over to Alexa Arnoff. To Megan O'Brien. Ball rolls out of bounds, so it's going to be looks like Alexa Arnoff throw-in. O'Brien, near side of the field, trying to get this one back into the box for North Georgia. Over now to Liv Sullins. Liv Sullins that ball's going to bounce right off the hands of Madison Steyer. Almost went in if Steyer didn't get any lower. But it looks like goalkeeper is down. Steyer, who has made a lot of saves for the Golden Rams in this game. Not a good component to go down, especially late in this one, trailing 8-1. Now this one over in the midfield area. Albany State having possession, passes this one to Kai Walker, and this one's going to sail way past Walker where Emma Martin's going to be back on it for North Georgia. Martin passing this one over towards Liv Sullins' area. Liv Sullins, this one's going to go out of bounds, but appears that it will be a North Georgia throw-in. That was actually an Albany State throw-in. Now, Amila Tiggs right there for North Georgia battling it out with Emma Martin. Back over to Abigail Dalebout. .26 minutes left to go in this matchup. Over now in the Chloe Diaz area. This one's going to get picked up by Kai Walker. Over to Norma Hernandez to now back into North Georgia possession. Michelle LaPenta kicking this one over midfield. Whistles are called. Where Taylor Holmes is going to kick this one off for Albany State. Holmes ball is going to immediately be met by some Nighthawks as North Georgia is going to try to go back down the field. And Liv Sullins is going to get tripped up at midfield. North Georgia quickly going. Chloe Diaz passing this one over to Liv Sullins. Sullins going to pass this one inside the box, but it's going to be headed off by a Albany State player. Sullins trying to go in there again for the steal. Now back over to Darby Olive. Olive over to Maysoon El Shami. Back over to El Shami. Now back over to Emma Martin. Martin, let's get a bounce off a couple of Golden Ram defenders. And that ball is going to sail out of bounds. We've hit under 25 minutes to go, and Maysoon El Shami's been in the game the whole time, and she's reached over 64 minutes of playtime in this game, which means she has now reached 6,000 career minutes with North Georgia. Quite an outstanding accomplishment by the senior Maysoon El Shami. So big congratulations for her, and one of 7 seniors that are going to be moving on from this North Georgia women's soccer squad at season's end. But we still got a lot of soccer left to play in this game and in the season. 23 minutes to go. North Georgia up 8-1 over Albany State. El Shami is going to get that one deflected. Back over to Emma Martin, to Megan O'Brien. O'Brien trying to make something happen. O'Brien going to try to get that one in the back of the net, and that ball is going to fall into the back of the net. Now, we have to check which one that was. Megan O'Brien.
Yeah, I think Megan O'Brien got the assist there, and I think 6,000 career minutes. Maysoon El Shami may have gotten that one. It appears that she did.
Good luck charm, I guess, giving out the accomplishment on air, and immediately followed up by a goal by Maysoon El Shami, assisted by Megan O'Brien. And it was a little tough to see from our angle with the sun shining directly on us. Megan O'Brien was in that area, Maysoon El Shami as well. So definitely one of those two players involved. And we've got some subs coming in.
Yeah,
Maysoon,
they just subbed out Maysoon, got the 6,000 career minutes, got the goal.
And
Her day
Olivia
is probably done.
And Olivia Minor coming in for El Shami. Minor, junior midfielder out of Peachtree City.
North Georgia, number 33, Olivia Minor.
With that score, it's now 9-1 over Albany State. Over Albany State right now. This game now far eclipses the 6-0 win over Emmanuel back in early September for North Georgia as the most goals scored in a game this season. North Georgia's working over midfield and trying to get to double digits in this one. If North Georgia gets to double digits in this one, this will be Albany State's first loss by double digits this season. This is back-to-back games now that Albany State has allowed 9 goals scored. They were on the road in Milledgeville facing off against GCSU where they lost 9-0. And this one, they have a point up on this one, but have allowed overall 18-1 so far in this game and the last game. And that one is going to be passed into the area of Olivia Minor, who came into the game for Maysoon El Shami. Whistle's called. Clock still winding down. About 21 minutes left in this matchup. North Georgia wins this one. They're going to be tied with Columbus State for the Peach Belt lead. ball's going to be midfield where Alexa Arnoff is. Over to now Michelle LaPenta. Now over deep into their territory, and that one just goes over the crossbar. And Albany State making substitutions. So we've had two Nighthawks score multiple goals. Katie Durkay with 3, Maysoon El-Shami with 2, and then you have 3 other goal scorers for North Georgia. North Georgia up 9-0 going into the under 20 minutes left remaining in this one. North Georgia trying to make something happen again. Going to get this pass. Try and get it over to Liv Sullins, who's in the backfield for North Georgia on the far side. And that one's just going to get out of bounds. Pass sailed far in front of Sullins. Madison Steyer. Kicking this one over to Darby Olive. That one's going to go out of bounds. Heading into this one, in the last 5 games for Albany State, they were outscored 19-6 going into this one, and 11-0 out of the last 2 games going into this one. And now back-to-back games allowing 9 goals in each. Getting outscored 18-1 so far in the game against GCSU, and now this one against North Georgia.
Yeah, I think a lot of that may come from them not having their goalkeeper available for the past 2 games. It's always tough when you have to stick a field player into the goal, but I believe that it has definitely hurt them in their last 2 outings.
North Georgia one's going to be met by Golden Ram player. Over to Michelle LaPenta. LaPenta to Alexa Arnoff. Over to Emma Martin. Martin over to Kate Garth. It looks like Liv's possibly Katie Durkay on the back in the far side of the field, and that one's going to go in to the back of the net. North Georgia gets to double digits for the first time this season as they lead 10-1 over Albany State. And that goal is going to go to Megan O'Brien, in which we saw her on the assist for the last goal by Maysoon El-Shami, but North Georgia putting it down today against Albany State in this Peach Belt Conference matchup.
Megan O'Brien. The new score here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park.
We've got 16 minutes left to go in this one. North Georgia still showing a lot of juice in this one.
Yeah, I think at this point in the game, for both sides, really all you're looking for is effort. 10-1 the game's out of hand. It's over. So, you're going to see North Georgia empty the bench. You're going to see Albany State empty the bench, and you're just going to find out, what kind of effort that the teams are going to put forward. For either side, the game could stay here for the rest of the time, but I think we'll try to see. I think the coaches will want to see both sides continue to push and kind of find out what they're made of.
So, in fact, North Georgia, the most goals they've ever scored in a match is 13, and that was against Georgia Southwestern 10 years ago. Actually, almost on the date, came October 12, 2013. North Georgia trying to make a deep run. You get their 11th goal on the game, and it's not going to get there. Madison Steyer, once again, up for the grab. But actually, 13 goals against Georgia Southwestern, 11 goals against Georgia Southwestern in 2015, coming October 10th, 2015. And they've gotten to 10 goals 4 times. This is the 5th time in franchise history that North Georgia has gotten to 10 goals in a game. So the record is 13. Second place is 11th. Both of those coming against Peach Belt rival Georgia Southwestern. Georgia Southwestern currently sitting third to last in the Peach Belt this year. Now we under 15 minutes left to go. And what is a historic day here at the UNG soccer field at Lynn Cottrell Park. One more goal is needed to tie second place all time, and 3 more goals are needed to tie the all-time record for the women's soccer team. Three out of the next 4 matchups for North Georgia are Peach Belt rivals, USC Aiken, GCSU, and Columbus State. And 2 of those Peach Belt matchups will be home right here at Lynn Cottrell Park. A much needed addition for North Georgia, who has been on the road majority of the season. Megan O'Brien is over there for North Georgia. O'Brien, the ball's going to go right out of bounds, and it's going to be a throw-in for Albany State. Take a look at Albany State's remaining schedule. They've got 4 games remaining as well. 2 of their next 4 are at home. They're going to be taking on Columbus State next week. Then it's going to be Flagler, Edward Waters, and Clayton State to end out their season. That throw in by Albany State. Alexa Arnoff throwing it into Megan O'Brien. Chloe Diaz passing this one to O'Brien. Diaz, and it's going to be jungled up, and now it's going to be Alexa Arnoff. Arnoff getting this one over to Olivia Minor. Minor passing this one to O'Brien. O'Brien passing. There's a, in the far corner, it's going to go out of bounds for a North Georgia throw-in by Alexa Arnoff. Arnoff throws this one in and regains possession of the ball herself. Arnoff passing this one to Minor. Minor, it's going to get hard shoved out of bounds. Minor slow is still on the ground. That was a big shove over there. Can't see the Golden Ram player. Might have been. Trying to look at find the golden ram there that might have been on the coverage. Looked like it could have been Kirsten Thomas. And we're going to take you to commercial break.
Considering a career change? Ready to lead in healthcare? Be a nurse in 15 months with our accelerated Bachelor's of Nursing track. Learn more at ung.edu/ABSN.
I'm here.
You've got a lot of reasons to be here.
I'm here.
That's why we're here at Georgia Heart Institute, where advanced heart attack treatment protocols are saving more heart.
Back with you here in Dahlonega. They're going to attend to Minor on the side as she is out of play, but play resumes with 10:45 left to go in the second half. North Georgia up 10-1 over Albany State. Michelle LaPenta. Pass that one to Megan O'Brien. Megan O'Brien right up to midfield area. Passing this one to Kate Garth, who's in the far side of the field for North Georgia. Garth gonna try to get this one in. Katie Durkay right there in the middle of the box. It goes right out, and it lands in the chest of Mackenzie Minor. Gonna kick this one over to Jordan Keene, but Jordan Keene not able to get to the ball, but would have been called offside if she got to the ball. Darby Olive in the far side of the field for North Georgia. Now over to Emma Martin. Martin passing it to Durkay. Durkay passing it back to Martin. Now over to Angie Garcia. Garcia almost tripped up there by Mackenzie Minor. And Garcia right back on it for North Georgia. And that ball's going to sail right out of bounds. Looks like that was Michelle LaPenta, the far side of the field for North Georgia. So we reach under 8.5 minutes to go, and Albany State's making a substitution. Yesamel Lattimore stepping on for Albany State. That one tipped up in the air, but it's going to be caught by Madison Steyer. Libby Minor able to get up and walking over towards the sideline now. And a big hit at midfield between Hannah Oliver and Emma Martin. Oliver got her chest pretty much right in Martin's face, and Martin went down hard on the turf. Now the ball's back in play. Now we're over to Liv Sullins. To Megan O'Brien. O'Brien trying to make something happen. O'Brien getting trucked up right at the box line. And now it's going to be a throw-in for North Georgia. Alexa Aronoff. And that one's going to be deflected by a North Georgia player, and it's going to go out of bounds on North Georgia. And going to be an Albany State throw-in. Emma Martin over to Angie Garcia. O'Brien over to look like could have been Alexa Aronoff there. Can't quite see it. Sun currently blinding us up here in the broadcast booth. It's hard to see some of those numbers in the box, but sun is starting to go down below the trees. As pretty much 90% of the field is covered in shade right now. We've got about 5 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in this matchup with North Georgia, up 10-1 over Albany State. Kick deep. North Georgia regaining back in possession. Angie Garcia is going to try to get that one into the goal, but is actually going to be deflected by a Nighthawk player. Trying to get the number on that one. Might have been Alexa Aronoff. Just got her foot into it. Trying to get it in for North Georgia's 11th goal of the game. Steyer kicks this one off, and it lands in the feet of Darby Olive. Olive battling it out with a couple of Albany State players. Angie Garcia passes it over to Megan O'Brien. O'Brien back to Garcia. Garcia back to O'Brien, where it's going to be intercepted by a couple of Albany State players. Darby Olive right there again to break up the pass by Albany State. Emma Martin back over to O'Brien. O'Brien. Pass that one looks like over to Angie Garcia. Garcia to Kate Garth. Garth going to hit this one from deep, but it's going to land right into the hands of Steyer. And what would have been North Georgia's 11th goal of the game. Got 4 minutes left remaining in this contest. North Georgia's next game will be against USC Aiken on the road this upcoming Wednesday in a pivotal PBC matchup for North Georgia to improve their standings and maybe put a little bit of a hold on first place. Assuming North Georgia goes on to win this game, they'll be tied for first in the Peach Belt Conference with Columbus State University, and they haven't faced off yet this season, but they will in the final game of the regular season for North Georgia. Alexa Aronoff. Emma Martin over to, looks like Michelle LaPenta in the far side of the field. Alexa Aronoff regaining control of the ball for North Georgia. She try to get that one towards Darby Olive. That pass over to Darby Olive. And Liv Sullins is going to get tripped up from behind. Whistle was called. We'll see what the refs decide for this one. It looks like it could be a goal kick for North Georgia. Looks like Emma Martin's going to kick this one in over to Angie Garcia. Garcia, it's going to hit the ball's going to hit the back of the neck of one of Albany State's players, but luckily she gets back up. And there's a cutting slide from Norma Hernandez into there, and it looks like the refs will call it, and there's a little bit of chippiness between the two sides. Norma Hernandez made a cutting slide into what it looked like it was Liv Sullins. And a yellow card's going to be issued to Hernandez late in this one. With 1:14 left to go. North Georgia trying to put up their 11th goal and tie second place in their program history for most goals scored in a single game. Alexa Arnoff back over to O'Brien. O'Brien, that one's going to get kicked out of bounds by Albany State. Got under a minute remaining in this game. North Georgia trying to regain possession of this one as we hit 40 seconds left to go in this matchup. Albany at the end of this one is going to fall to 0-5-1 in Peach Belt and 1-10-1 overall on the season. North Georgia is going to improve to 9-2-2 over the season and 5-0-1 in Peach Belt, which is good enough to tie for first place with Columbus State University. That ball going to go right back out. It's going to be tossed back in to play. Liv Sullins over to Angie Garcia. Garcia trying to get it into the back of the net, but it doesn't get there, as that will probably be the final goal attempt of the game, and it will be, as North Georgia puts on a show for everybody in attendance today, beating Albany State 10-1 in this Peach Belt Conference matchup as North Georgia improves to 9-2-2 overall, 5-0-1 in Peach Belt play. And that'll tie Columbus State in the Peach Belt standings for first place. North Georgia will be playing USC Aiken on the road for their final road game of the season in a Peach Belt Conference matchup. And they'll be taking on Georgia College State University at home next week. This Albany State University is going to fall in this one, and they're going to have to take it's going to be another tough matchup for them, as they're going to have to take on the team that's tied for first place with North Georgia in the Peach Belt in Columbus State this Wednesday. But the Golden Rams will be at home for that one.
Yeah, 3 straight tough matchups, actually. They have North Georgia here, Columbus State, and then Flagler. Like we were talking about earlier, that's the 3-headed monster of the conference most years. So, tough slate ahead of them. But I think there's a lot of lessons that they can learn from this game and then the next 2 that maybe they'll be able to pick up another win later on in the season. From the North Georgia standpoint, senior day, big win. This is exactly what you want if you're Coach Ralton. But yeah, great game for North Georgia. They played well. They played North Georgia soccer and how they wanted to play coming in. They got the win.
Yeah, you just look at the stats going down. We've said it many times at the broadcast. 2 teams on the opposite side of the spectrum. 10 goals by North Georgia, 1 by Albany State. 11 assists for North Georgia, 33 shots by North Georgia, 20 shots on goal by North Georgia, 11 corners. Well, there's only 1 shot on goal and 1 shot for Albany State University. So we're going to leave you with this interesting stat. This is the 5th time in program history North Georgia women's soccer team gets to 10 goals. Put on a show for everybody on senior day, as that is the 5th time only in program history that they get to 10 goals. We're going to leave you with that. It's 10-1 final here at Lynn Cottrell Park as North Georgia tied with Columbus State University in the Peach Belt Conference standings. For TJ Campbell, I'm Devin Kupka saying so long and have a great night, everybody. in Dahlonega. Final score once again, North Georgia victorious 10-1 over Albany State University.